Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here with Jason Blaha Strength and Fitness, and today I want to chat with you guys and gals a little bit about how to safely build a 315 bench. But a quick reminder, if you guys will please click like down below, be greatly appreciated. If you're not subscribed or following, please do so. And if you'll be kind enough to drop me a comment down below, I'd appreciate it so much. So starting off here, I'm doing a 350 pause bench, pretty much raw, just in nothing but shorts, flat back, at the age of 48. Right, and I weighed about 210 that morning. So just to put in context, I'm doing that at 48. I do know how to maintain health and avoid injuries on benching. So I want to talk to you guys about how to do this safely. Now, I could make a lot of cases for a raw bench of spending a lot of time on incline and overhead press to build a raw bench. I think we could make a case for that if we wanted to focus just on primary movers. But I think I want to go a different direction in this because this is about how to do it safely. Not necessarily the fastest way to get there, but how do we do it safely? Because I think that's more important for a lot of guys. So I'm going to say right off the top of the list, specificity of training. Pause bench, pause bench, pause bench. I want you guys to notice every single rep that I do on all my benching is pause. So I'm going to throw in like some sets of 3 and 4 with 315 in here. Pause, and I've got some other stuff. I think that's whatever, like 6 or whatever with 286 or 7. With 285, I've got another one doing like 295 or 5. Just some other stuff through here, some work sets. And a lot of times I do a top set with 315 and then I back off. But again, keeping in mind, for context, you guys have seen a couple of my clients benching over 400 pounds in the past. I've put up video footage in the past. My strongest bencher ever was a 450 bencher in the 220 class. But I've also put up clients who have double body weight benches. So some stuff that I really want to talk about here going to be specificity of training. And this is if we're not running conjugate, right? If we're not going to run conjugate, we're going to use some elements of conjugate, but pause benching. So again, if we're going to talk about building the chest to get it started off the bottom and the delts and everything, again, I could always make a case for incline and overhead, but let's talk about doing it safely. Ingrain your technique. Pause bench, pause bench, pause bench. And I mean lots of it. Okay? Lots of pause benching. But notice when we're pausing, notice I have everything stacked. Everything is perfect. Everything is stacked wrists. I have a real wide grip on all this pause benching. Okay? We're down low on the chest. Very modest arch on all of it. Heels flat. So we're using leg drive, but notice we're staying tight and we're pausing on everything. Those pause reps are everything. Because that's how we build the power out of the bottom, right? This is how you build power out of the bottom. And so again, if you're not doing much pause work, your chest is not always prepared, right? Your chest isn't always prepared to explode out of the bottom. So again, if we're trying to keep those injuries low, this is pretty high on the list. So notice that I have the ability to control the eccentric really well. All my eccentrics are controlled. I know a lot of guys want to dive bomb it, but we're talking about avoiding injuries. Okay? If you want to avoid injuries, that eccentric control is very important. That pause is very important. And again, let me be clear. The pausing itself, especially with a fairly wide grip, will build your chest massively. Like that will handle all of the chest that you need, so then we can focus on peripheral muscles. Okay, that'll handle most of the front delts. Now, am I not saying that you could do some incline overhead? Sure, that's actually a really good approach for just building the strength. But this is again, how do we build this safety structure? Because we can still get there. You can completely avoid those exercises and still do it. All right, so that's what we want to do. High specificity of training, all the time. Every rep, pause, pause, pause. Every rep, perfect. No junk, no ego lifting, no bouncing. All right, number 2, you see it rows and pull-ups. Okay, why? Upper back and lats. A couple things that we need to think about. When you think about stability, so again, let's talk safety. What muscles stabilize the bench? Lats, upper back, biceps. Those are your stabilizers, right? Everyone always talks about big movements work stabilizers. So what are the stabilizers? And people forget that. They have this conversation about stabilizers and they act like they're little magical small muscles. No, they're not. Quads can be stabilizers. Hamstrings can be stabilizers. Lats can be stabilizers. Okay, you understand? So if we want to build all the stabilizers, rows and then pull-ups to some extent, why? This builds all the muscles, the meat that we need to stabilize all of that. Builds all the rear delt, the bicep, brachialis, forearms, lats. So this is important for eccentric control. It's extremely important for eccentric control. This is what allows you to control where that bar touches. So if you want every rep when you're going heavy to be perfect control in the eccentric, you want to be able to touch it where you want to touch it, you need to build these muscles. This is going to give you a huge amount of safety. All right. And I think that cannot be understated. All right. It's going to give you a huge amount of safety. Also, the lats. What about the lats? They help us power it out of the bottom. Okay. So if we're doing all pause benching, we're building the chest. If we build really big lats, and I have pretty big lats, we have almost a slingshot out of the bottom. So think of lats as having the ability to slingshot the weight. And people say, I don't get it. It doesn't make sense. Yes, it does. You can pop them against your triceps. So they can help you build power. When you have that little bit of leg drive and you pop out of the bottom, those lats can give you a little more oomph behind it, because that pop can hit the back of the arm, hits the long head of the tricep back there. Big, strong lats push it out because you're tucked in tight, and as soon as you drive, they pop a little bit, and it can add some force there. And think about that, and with the leverages involved, that's going to give you more power. So if you have the pause benching, you're going to get the power out of the bottom. The chest is going to be able to drive it out of the bottom really, really hard, chest and delts. It's going to be used to it. The lats are going to help you get it started. Okay? Then we have to look at it and say, okay, if we get it moving fast enough, we don't have to worry about the sticking point. Now, if that sticking point's a problem, this is where incline and stuff really comes in. But let's assume we don't need that. Let's assume we have built the chest and the lats to get it driving out of the bottom. So then we need to worry about triceps. And I would say lots of triceps. We could talk about dips. We could talk about closed grip bench, or we could be doing big extensions like this, press downs. All right, but here's the idea. Triceps, triceps, triceps. The reason. Okay, and my triceps are probably my limit right now. So I need to continue to work on triceps. If I want to get a bigger bench than where that 350 is, my triceps have to come up personally. They need to be a high priority, and they are right now for me. So why the triceps? It's not just about the lockout. It's about the bar path. This is a safety concern. All right, when you think about the bar path, if your triceps are too weak, what happens? The bar drifts towards your face more near the lockout. Why? Your front delts take over. Okay? So that's where, again, we're like, well, if you do lots of incline and overhead, you can drive right through that. No problem, because the front delts are super strong. But is that the safest way to do it? Not necessarily. It puts a lot of stress on the shoulder. This is where shoulder injuries happen again. Bad bar path near the lockout, drifts towards the face. If your triceps are strong enough, what happens? When you go to lock it, you can maintain it further down, more distal, right? More towards the feet instead of towards the face, because the triceps are strong enough. And if you do that, the bar maintains a much better position. So it's not necessarily that the triceps lets you lift more weight. It lets you lift more weight through the best bar path for protecting your shoulders. Okay? So this is a big deal. This is why we discuss triceps a lot with all this. Yeah, they're a primary mover. Yes, they do matter. Yes, they will contribute. But a lot of it is, can we safely put it through the bar path that we want? And if we can do that, let's talk about overuse. If your triceps are strong enough to maintain a safer bar path with less wear on the shoulders, can you do more benching? Well, yeah, because your overuse is going to go down for those areas of concern. Okay, so again, we're talking about downstream effects. Not that the triceps are the most important muscle. It's the bar path they maintain, allowing for more safety if the triceps are really strong. And in the long term, you can do more benching. You do more heavy benching. It's easier on your body. easier on your shoulders. Injuries go down, right? Our overuse risks go down. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys and gals next time.